Hey guys, welcome back to the next part of our series. Today we're going to start with chapter 5, and this is going to be our last chapter. I was thinking about having multiple chapters for this final part and then combining everything at the end, but I thought it was going to be a little bit easier and more easy to understand if we just keep everything in the same piece. So, this chapter, we're going to be focusing on the final project of our course, and we're going to be grabbing a custom avatar, and we're going to be creating the whole uniform for him. Okay. So, a long time ago, well, not so long ago, right? But a while ago, I did this character for another class, another place, and we're gonna be using him. He's an Akrok. It's kind of like an alien species, kind of like amphibious species, and he has human-like proportions. So we're gonna be using him as a base. And what's important about this is, well, I'm thinking about this story where this guy is part of an alien race, if you can imagine, that we have made contact with, and he's now training with like the army, like let's call the Earth Army, and this guy's army are now combined, so they're going through boot camp at the same time as we are. So he's maybe gonna be the main character of the movie, and or the series or the game or whatever. And I thought it would be quite nice and quite funny to have him be dressed up as a soldier, just like a normal traditional soldier. So here are some reference of what we're gonna be doing. The first thing we're going to be doing is a pants, like tactical pants. Then we're going to do some things on the top as well. And we're going to dress him just like as if he was a soldier going again through boot camp. So today we're going to be focusing on how to import this guy here inside of Marvelous Designer so that we can start working on him, right? It's actually super easy. File, import obj, and we're gonna import this guy, which is under project files, Acro Clean version 2. Just gonna hit open, and a couple of things that we need to change here. First, I'm gonna make sure that automatically add arrangement point is set up to on. For this to properly work, your character should be in T pose or in A pose. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, it never works perfectly. It just gives you a starting point, and I'm gonna be showing you throughout this video how to adjust it so that we get something closer to what we would expect to have whenever we're working with other kinds of characters, right? Like the avatars inside of here. So now I am gonna say the scale, also very important. Make sure that the scale is set up to the proper scale that you did. This guy is set up to real world scale, and I did this guy in Maya, so centimeters is the way to go. And that's it. Just hit OK, and there we go. The character is inside. The collision volumes are properly working. Like, he's gonna react to all of the clothing pieces perfectly fine. I'm gonna grab this guy, and I'm just gonna bring him up because in Maya he was going a little bit through the floor. So now he's perfectly ready. Now, if we were to go here to the arrangement points and we show the arrangement points, you're gonna see that it's not bad, right? Like, the arrangement points are actually quite close to the character. But there might be a couple of things that we might change. And the way to see this is if we see not the arrangement points, but the bounding volumes. There we go. So again, it's not bad. We got close to it. At least like the chest pieces are here. The head is there. The arms are almost there. But it would be better if we could just like modify this a little bit, right? So I'm going to go to the avatar menu. We're going to go to the avatar editor. And here's where we change all of the things. So as you can see, this is the size of the avatar, the body. Actually, I don't think I've mentioned this before. Let me do a quick, what's the word? Parenthesis here, because it's actually very important. Let's bring Camille real quick, or Camila. So the avatars that are provided here by Marvel Designer, you can actually like change them. Like, let's say you're working with a character, or you want to do like real life garments, and you have the measurements of someone, you can change this. So for instance, if I say, I don't know, it's going to be really extreme, but if I say 500, you can see how the neck changed, right? So if you have the proper measurements of someone, you can change all of these things right here. The bust, the height, the neck, the hips, the legs, like everything can be changed in here. We didn't do anything or we didn't need to use any of this for all of the garments that we've created so far because we're just following the standard like procedure. But yeah, it's a really cool option. So let's just go here, avatar, to all avatars, and we'll go back again, file, import, OBJ, select this guy. Everything selected, hit OK, and there we go. Just push this guy up. There we go. Now we're gonna go back into the avatar editor right here, and we're gonna go to the arrangement points, which is this one right here. Now, these elements right here, these are the boards, and the boards are the green things that you're seeing where the attachment points are gonna be placed. Now, I don't want to mess up with the attachment points. I think they're like doing it properly, that they're working fine. I want to mess up with these things a little bit. So as you can see, we have skirt right and skirt left. Do we really need those? No, we're not going to be using skirts. So you can just supreme or delete, and that's it. They're gone. I also don't think we need a head, like head right and left, because we're not going to be doing anything. We might need this one right here, the head vertical up, because maybe if we want to add like a hat or something, we'll add it over here. I don't think so, to be honest. But if you want, of course, we could do it. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start moving some of these things. For instance, this is the body left and body right. I'm gonna select both and just move them down. Let's move that. That's body right, and that's body left. And that way, it's gonna look a little bit closer to what we used to have on our avatars, right? Let's go, for instance, now to the wrists. And I mean, they're not wrong. I like to do the arms first. So I'm gonna go to the right arm. First thing is I'm gonna move it into position. There we go. You can try this option, which is called fit to avatar. It doesn't always work. For instance, this thing right here, it really doesn't work. And another thing that's a little bit annoying is that you have to do this for both elements. So what I mean by both elements is if you do it on one side, you need to do it on the other. So as you can see here, the wrist is way too thin. So here on the length, I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna say like 80 and 80. And that way the wrist becomes a little bit like nicer, right? And now we should be able to place this where it's supposed to be. So now I know that 80 is probably the proper number. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because the simulation is going to be taking a lot of, it's going to take care of everything. For instance, the arm, let's go with 150 and 150. Whoop. There we go. And the most important ones are the attachment points at the top, I would say. We've seen this before, so something like that. And definitely closer to the body. So something like that. As long as the points are outside of the body, that should make it a little bit easier for us. Let's do the same thing over here. So we now found that the proper distance is 150. And it's just a matter of getting this as close as possible to the other one, right? Like as equal as possible. These are the shoulders, so I'm just gonna bring the shoulder down here. Same for this one. And of course, since this is an alien, it's trying to find like other things that, of course, don't match the character. You bring any character. Try to bring the character, of course, in a sort of low poly version. This is like relatively high, but not super high. Let's go to the neck. It's right there inside of the character. So I'm gonna change this to like 200. 200. That the neck would be important, I would say, because it could be like the color. Same for this one. So we know that the magic number was 200 and 200. And we just try to bring it exactly the same point. And there you go. As you can see, things are looking a little bit better. I'm gonna go with my legs. You can see that the leg is like a full leg, like it's starting to do the full leg, which again, not the end of the world. Probably gonna go a little bit higher on the like the height is fine. It's this one right here. It's kind of like oval shape, as you can see. So I'm just gonna push the x-axis a little bit more. Let's say 300. No, that's the other axis. Sorry. So let's go here. Let's go to 15, I think it was, and then 200. There we go. That's a little bit better. So let's go 200 here and just push it to the side. There we go. So now our avatar is ready. Now you can see it's going a little bit like farther out. It's fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. We also have the ankles, which are pretty nicely positioned. I think just moving them up is more than enough. So there we go. And after that's done, of course, we need to save. So let's save as avatar. And here on the chapter 5, I'm going to call this Ak-Rock avatar. Save. So technically, what this should do is if we were to say, for instance, avatar, delete all avatars, and we say file, import, or open avatar, we can open this avatar, and all of the arrangement points that we had should be exactly where we left them. Very important to save your avatar, because otherwise, remember, sometimes when we open the garments, the avatar's not there. So then if we re-import the OBJ, we're not going to have this, okay? Now, of course, another thing you can do, and this is this is quite funny, but it's totally doable, is we can navigate to the paths of these things. If you right-click and copy the path, let me open a new window, and let's navigate here. It's usually going to be here on the public documents. It's users, public documents, Marvel Designer, assets, avatar. We have this. I can create a new folder. Call this, for instance, aliens. And then inside of this aliens, I'm just going to Control-C and Control-V this guy. Let's say, again, avatar, delete all avatars. And if we go here, we're gonna have the aliens folder, and you just double click, and there you go. Your avatar is inside. So you can imagine if you're working, for instance, on a project that has gonna have multiple characters, and you're gonna be doing multiple like garment pieces or I don't know, outfits for them. You're probably gonna have this sort of thing, right? Like where you're gonna be changing this this guy like multiple times, and you're gonna be like bringing him several times, and it's just a lot easier to have it on your library. Which, by the way, you can do this with everything. So textures, garments, everything. You just save it on that file path that I show you, and that's it. Cool. So now let's do a test. Let's do a quick test before we finish this video. Let's go to our garments, and let's say we want to add a basic t-shirt. So I'm just gonna say add, hit OK. And there we go, the shirt's there. Now, we can't really use auto fit. I know we normally use this option right here, which is the auto fitting tool. But if it's not gonna work because it's not like properly calibrated, right? So that's why arrangement points are so important. So I'm just gonna hit my arrangement points, select this guy, go like there is fine, and then select this guys. There is fine. Select this guy. Go there. And do we have two patterns? Kind of looks like we have two patterns. Oh yeah, I think we imported the thing twice. Okay, let me load this real quick. Let's final save. Do you want to save? No. There we go. So again, just select this guy. We have live thing turned on. So if we like fit something somewhere, it's gonna do on the opposite side. It knows, that's one of the cool things. Even if we didn't manage to properly line up things, it knows that the other one is it's the mirror image, even if it's not perfectly mirrored. And there we go. Simulate, and our character has a shirt. Of course, we're gonna have a little bit of overlap here and there. It's relatively normal, but that's it. Our character is now wearing a very cool shirt. Now, one thing I want to do is I'm going to select the character, and I'm going to go here to the color, and he's supposed to be blue, so I'm going to change his color to blue. Probably like a nice dark blue. There we go. Just so that we can see a different color from the basic like white garments that we normally use. If you had if this character didn't have view thems and you have like a single texture, you could just select the character, go here to the texture maps, and in the same way that we did the texture chapter, you could just plug in all of the textures to get him ready. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. This is it for this first video of this new chapter. In the next one, we're gonna start working on the pants. So hang on tight, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye bye.